Language Foundations Vocabulary Flashcards, helping you achieve understanding.
An imaginary line around the Earth parallel to the equator. Freedom from normal restraints in conduct. Allowed his children considerable latitude in how they spent their money. Scope for freedom of e.g. action or thought. Freedom from restriction. The angular distance between an imaginary line around a heavenly body parallel to its equator and the equator itself. An imaginary line around the Earth parallel to the equator. Something having the property of being analogous to something else. Duplicate or match. An imaginary line around the Earth parallel to the equator. Make or place parallel to something. They paralleled the ditch to the highway. Being everywhere equidistant and not intersecting. Parallel lines never converge. Be parallel to. Their roles are paralleled by ours. Mathematics. One of a set of parallel geometric figures, parallel lines or planes. Parallels never meet. Of or relating to the simultaneous performance of multiple operations. Parallel processing. An imaginary line around the Earth parallel to the equator. A course of reasoning aimed at demonstrating a truth or falsehood. The methodical process of logical reasoning. I can't follow your line of reasoning. A slight depression or fold in the smoothness of a surface. His face has many lines. Mechanical system in a factory whereby an article is conveyed through sites at which successive operations are performed on it. A connected series of events or actions or developments. Historians can only point out those lines for which evidence is available. The road consisting of railroad track and roadbed. A conceptual separation or distinction. There is a narrow line between sanity and insanity. A succession of notes forming a distinctive sequence. A conductor for transmitting electrical or optical signals or electric power. The principal activity in your life that you do to earn money. He's not in my line of business. Make a mark or lines on a surface. Draw a line. Often plural, a means of communication or access. Lines of communication were set up between the two firms. The descendants of one individual. His entire lineage has been warriors. Space for one line of print, 1 column wide and 1/14 inch deep, used to measure advertising. A short personal letter. Drop me a line when you get there. A telephone connection. Be in line with, form a line along. Trees line the riverbank. The maximum credit that a customer is allowed. A particular kind of product or merchandise. A nice line of shoes. A pipe used to transport liquids or gases. A pipeline runs from the wells to the seaport. A commercial organization serving as a common carrier. Acting in conformity. In line with. A formation of people or things one behind another. The line stretched clear around the corner. A formation of people or things one beside another. The line of soldiers advanced with their bayonets fixed. A fortified position, especially one marking the most forward position of troops. They attacked the enemy's line. A length, straight or curved, without breadth or thickness, the trace of a moving point. A mark that is long relative to its width. He drew a line on the chart. A single frequency, or very narrow band, of radiation in a spectrum. A spatial location defined by a real or imaginary unidimensional extent. Cover the interior of. Line the gloves. Fill plentifully. Line one's pockets. In games or sports, a mark indicating positions or bounds of the playing area. Mark with lines. Sorrow had lined his face. Persuasive but insincere talk that is usually intended to deceive or impress. Let me show you my etchings as a rather worn line. Reinforce with fabric. Lined books are more enduring. Something, as a cord or rope, that is long and thin and flexible. A washing line. Text consisting of a row of words written across a page or computer screen. The letter consisted of 3 short lines. Immunity from arbitrary exercise of authority, political independence. Leave granted to a sailor or naval officer. An act of undue intimacy. Freedom of choice. Liberty of opinion. Personal freedom from servitude or confinement or oppression. Electronic equipment that provides visual images of varying electrical quantities. A magnifier of images of distant objects. An area in which something acts or operates or has power or control. Within the scope of an investigation. The state of the environment in which a situation exists. The, usually elliptical, path described by one celestial body in its revolution about another. He plotted the orbit of the moon. An area in which something acts or operates or has power or control. In the political orbit of a world power. A particular environment or walk of life. He's out of my orbit. Move in an orbit. The moon orbits around the Earth. The bony cavity in the skull containing the eyeball. The path of an electron around the nucleus of an atom. The limit of capability. Within the compass of education. An area in which something acts or operates or has power or control. Within the compass of this article. Get the meaning of something. Travel around, either by plane or ship. We compassed the Earth. Bring about. Accomplish. This writer attempts more than his talents can compass. Drafting instrument used for drawing circles. Navigational instrument for finding directions. An area in which something acts or operates or has power or control. The ambit of municipal legislation. Assign a rank or rating to. Range or extend over. Occupy a certain area. The limit of capability. The limits within which something can be effective. Range of motion. An area in which something acts or operates or has power or control. The range of a supersonic jet. A series of hills or mountains. The valley was between 2 ranges of hills. Feed as in a meadow or pasture. Move about aimlessly or without any destination, often in search of food or employment. change or be different within limits. Estimates for the losses in the earthquake range as high as $2 billion. Mathematics. The set of values of the dependent variable for which a function is defined. A kitchen appliance used for cooking food. Lay out orderly or logically in a line or as if in a line. A large tract of grassy open land on which livestock can graze. They used to drive the cattle across the open range every spring. A place for shooting, firing or driving projectiles of various kinds. The Army maintains a missile range in the desert. A variety of different things or activities. He answered a range of questions. Have a range. Be capable of projecting over a certain distance, as of a gun. This gun ranges over 2 miles. Let eat. Range the animals in the prairie. Move forward or upward in order to touch, also in a metaphorical sense. Government reaches out to the people. The act of physically reaching or thrusting out. Be in or establish communication with. Our advertisements reach millions. The limit of capability. The limits within which something can be effective. He was beyond the reach of their fire. An area in which something acts or operates or has power or control. Outside the reach of the law. Reach a goal. Reach a point in time, or a certain state or level. This car can reach a speed of 140 miles per hour. Place into the hands or custody of. To extend as far as. The sunlight reached the wall. To exert much effort or energy. To gain with effort. Reach a destination, either real or abstract. The water reached the doorstep. The angular separation between two objects as perceived by an observer. He recorded angular distances between the stars. Relating to or situated in or characteristic of the tropics, the region on either side of the equator. Tropical islands. Of weather or climate, hot and humid as in the tropics. Tropical weather. Either of two parallels of latitude about 23.5 degrees to the north and south of the equator representing the points farthest north and south at which the sun can shine directly overhead and constituting the boundaries of the torrid zone or tropics. A line of latitude at the north or south poles. Either of two belts or regions near 30 degrees north or 30 degrees south, characterized by calms and light baffling winds.
Become our student and get access to effective and free educational materials. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to become a part of our growing YouTube community and to learn English effectively.